Harambee Stars are set to face Cameroon in October before hosting the return leg in Kampala in mid-October. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1 as both teams chase slots for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
And a very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to this bulletin. It is Sunday Express as the week comes to a close and we're headed to a new week with a lot of political intrigues expected in the offing in the Parliament, and that's all been building up this week. So we'll start our bulletin tonight. But first, let's get the highlights.
It is true. There is an impeachment motion against the Deputy President, and as a Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, I have already appended my signature to it.
Let us not fall into the temptation of overturning the will of the people through other methods.
Gashagua's troubles. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah accuses DP Rigathi Gachagua of sabotage as Gachagua defends himself in the wake of an impeachment motion. Cutting their way to fame. We have details of how female barbers are cutting their niche in a previously male-dominated industry. Race against time. A family pleads for financial assistance for their 12-year-old child to undergo a life-saving kidney transplant. On to our first story now. Before we get to it, our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has continued to defend himself against plans to impeach him in the wake of a fallout with a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region. While attending a church service in Meru County, Gachagua told those planning to impeach him to respect the will of the people, saying he was elected on a joint ticket with President William Ruto. Here is our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim with the details.
Na ndio nimepita hapa, nitapita hapo Runyenjes, Chuka mpaka Meru. Niongee na watu wetu waniambie kama wanataka tukae tukiwa kitu kimoja.
A day after the country's second in command dead legislators were reported to have signed his impeachment motion.
Hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza nitoa kwa kazi isipokuwa nyinyi. Kweli ama uongo? Kweli ama uongo?
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua continued with the onslaught on the lawmakers engineering his ouster, terming the motion to remove him from office as a political witch hunt.
Tufanyie watu ya Kenya kazi kwa sababu tulichaguliwa miaka miwili peke yake na hatujafanya ile kazi ambayo wananchi wanatarajia tufanye. Tungetaka tuombe tupunguze maneno mingi, zote tushikane, tufanyie wa Kenya kazi. Kwa sababu hawa Kenya walituchagua wakiwa na matumaini makubwa sana. na hawakutuchagua tupigane, turumbane, tupanganie, tukue na maneno ambayo haifai.
Rigathi, who joined the faithfuls at the church service in Meru County, urged the country to pray for him and his boss, President William Ruto, to overcome the current turbulence within the ruling party.
Bishop, mimi sina maneno mengi, mimi nimeshukuru sana kwa maombi. Please continue praying for our country. Let us pray for our president, let us pray for the government, let us pray for our leaders. It is my hope that sanity will prevail. We tone down on politics of division, siasa ya kumalizana, siasa ya furugu.
Gachagua stated the government is yet to realize most of its goals and leaders ought to forego politics so that they can be achieved.
And as we do whatever we are doing in the political space, it is my prayer that we should always respect the will of the people. The will of the people is supreme. Elections were done. President and I were elected on the joint ticket for 5 years, and that is the will of the people. Let us not fall into the temptation of overturning the will of the people through other methods.
This comes as Gachagua alleged that his political detractors were hell-bent on kicking him out of office while given bribes to support the impeachment motion.
Siko namna hiyo, watu waheshimiwe. Ile wananchi wameamua, tuwapatie nafasi kwa sababu wao ndio wenye kuamua.
A section of National Assembly members are expected to table the impeachment motion against the Deputy President on Tuesday next week. The motion, which must be backed by 117 legislators for it to be introduced in the House, must garner the support of at least 233 MPs for it to be transmitted to the Senate. Abdiaziz Hashim for Sunday Express.
Now, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has faulted the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for allegedly undermining and sabotaging government from within. The Kikuyu legislator, who confirmed the existence of an impeachment motion against Gachagua, says he has appended his signature to the motion, adding Gachagua has started a rebellious front within government in pursuit of his 2027 ambitions. The planned impeachment motion, however, has attracted protracted resistance from religious leaders and elders from the Mount Kenya region, while other political players appear to support calls for the ouster of the DP from office. John Jacob Kuria with the details.
It appears the impeachment motion against the Deputy President is no longer a question of if but when, with Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah confirming he is among one of the legislators who has signed the motion that is headed to the National Assembly.
It is true there is an impeachment motion against the Deputy President, and as Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, I have already appended my signature to it. And I will support that impeachment motion to stop a process where government is being undermined and sabotaged from within government. Ili yale mambo tuliwaambia tutawafanyia tuweze kuyatekeleza.
According to Ichung'wah, the DP has been sabotaging government affairs and was attempting to balkanize the country.
Because I do not believe in the politics of ethnicity. I do not believe in the politics of undermining and sabotaging a government that we formed. Sababu tunaambiwa ati tujikusanye kama Wakikuyu, tujiondoe kwa hii serikali, tuende tutafute Kalonzo na Wajakoya na Eugene, ati tutengeneze serikali ingine ya 2027. Na hii tulitengeneza, tuachilie, isaidie wengine.
His sentiments appeared to align with those of a section of Rift Valley legislators who faulted Gachagua for allegedly propagating tribal politics.
Deputy wetu, hata kama tunakupenda, lakini inafika wakati ambaye inakuwa ngumu sana. Maana wewe ukiimba Mount Kenya na mimi nika hapa na sina deputy mwingine, hiyo ni kunitupa mbali.
Ndio maana tukasema kwa minajili ya Kenya moja tumeweka sahihi ya kumuondoa kama impeachment na kura kule bungeni. Hata wenye walitangulia na wenye watapitisha hiyo mswada sio sisi, ni wenzake kutoka mlima.
Na hata hii rais ukikuja kutuomba, tutakuomba respectfully utuachie to deal na hii mtu ambaye ni mnafiki ya mwisho.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula Sunday added his voice to the debate.
Ikiwa ni mimi, nitolewe. Akiwa ni Makau, atolewe. Akiwa ni Kamene, atolewe. Ikiwa ni wewe, utolewe. Because we want peace for everybody.
This as Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka slammed the impeachment attempt, accusing the government of attempting to divert the public's attention on public affairs matters.
For the 25th of June, 2024 stands out as a very important milestone when the youth of this country, the Gen Zs, literally liberated their country. And therefore we have to build on those gains. Anything else can only be diversionary.
And as debate rages on, Mbeere North MP Geoffrey Ruku hit out at the Deputy President over what he termed as generalization of development issues at the expense of a marginalized Mbeere community.
Huku hakuna majani chai, huku hakuna maziwa, huku hakuna kahawa, huku hakuna avocado, huku hakuna makadamia. Hiyo vitu yote hakuna, na ndio tunahimiza serikali ya William Ruto tujenge barabara, tujenge hospitali, tulete maji ya kulima.
This as a section of clergy in Meru opposed the proposed impeachment motion, calling for a political ceasefire.
And many people think that this is the government of the church. Yes, we supported His Excellency the President together with his deputy, and we voted for them overwhelmingly. And we want to reinstate that it is good for them to work together and finish their term.
John Jacob Curia, Sunday Express.
To the fight against graft, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission officers have arrested John Coveti Lumula, a cleaner working for the Kakamega County government who is alleged to have accumulated unexplained wealth of over 615 million shillings. Officers from the anti-graft body raided his home and offices where they found documentation and cash that showed he owns a top private school worth over 200 million shillings run by his spouse, hotels, land, commercial buildings and high-end vehicles. EACC spokesperson Eric Gombe says his wealth is suspected to be as a result of proceeds of graft, as it was not commensurate to his known income.
Meet a multi-millionaire cleaner from Kakamega County. John Coveti Lumula, a Kakamega County official who has amassed unexplained wealth of over 615 million Kenyan shillings. Lumula, the head of cleaning services at the devolved unit, was arrested and recorded a statement. Sleuths from the anti-graft body raided his home and offices to unearth how he accumulated his wealth as a county officer. The multimillionaire cleaner, according to the Twali Bambarak-led body, allegedly amassed wealth that was not commensurate to his legitimate income, which EACC suspects to be proceeds of corruption. While confirming the arrest, EACC spokesperson Eric Ngumbi affirmed that Lumula's suspected illicit multi-million empire includes a top private school worth 200 million shillings run by his spouse, hotels, land, commercial buildings and high-end vehicles. Lumula is among several officials raided this week in an intensified crackdown on overnight millionaires in the government. The anti-graft body is currently focused on asset tracing and recovery of proceeds of graft.
And moving on is that Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is calling for unity among citizens in the wake of plans to introduce an impeachment motion against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in the National Assembly. Speaking during the retirement and Thanksgiving service for ACK Nairobi Diocese Bishop Joel Wawero, Sakaja emphasized the importance of respect and collaboration among political leaders and the public, urging all Kenyans to rise above tribal divisions.
At St. Stephen's Church on Jogoo Road, a gathering of politicians and clergy came together to honor the retiring Bishop of ACK Nairobi Diocese, Right Reverend Joel Wawero. As they bid their farewell to the retiring bishop, voices of unity rang, with leaders stressing the necessity for solidarity as political tensions escalate.
Mambo ambayo yanafanyika hayapendezi mtu yeyote. Provost ananiambia ametumiwa message na mtu sahihi, akaambiwa tafadhali Provost, maambie maaskofu waombee nchi hii. Mkipewa kiti cha heshima, mtu aheshimu kiti hicho. na heshimu wale ambao wanafanya kazi nao.
As the nation braces for potential turbulence with plans to impeach the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, they called on political leaders to uphold their responsibilities and foster a climate of respect.
Tafadhali nchi yetu isiingie kwenye shimo kwa ajili ya marubano ambayo ninyi mnasema. Heshimianeni huko wenyewe, na mambo ambayo mnafanya mjue mnafanya namna gani, na mjue tunawaangalia.
Our problems are the same as a city of Nairobi. The same pain Mama Njeri feels when she can't feed a child is the same as Mama Akinyi. We want our people to remain united without tribalism in our city and our country. We are one people. There's more that unites us than divides us, and that is what we believe in. So please don't worry about the politics you're seeing going on. Hiyo ambayo inakuja bunge next week na huko kwingine, don't worry. Let the politicians settle their politics, because politics is part of us.
Governor Sakaja urged Kenyans to focus on what unites them rather than the divisions that threaten to tear the country apart.
But I want to assure you that we are going to have a united country devoid of tribal politics. No one chose where they were born, and no one chose which family they were in. No one chose which tribe. All our communities in Kenya, 43, deserve recognition and space in our country. And that is the Kenya that we want to build.
During the retirement and Thanksgiving service, Bishop Joel Waweru Mwangi, who has served the Diocese of Nairobi for 14 years, was praised as a devoted servant of God. The bishop's legacy of promoting peace and unity resonated as he heads to retirement. Ben Chumba, Sunday Express.
Now, from the church now to the government press, where the Ministry of Lands has come out to allay fears that the theft of 367 security papers has any consequence on land legitimacy owned and title deeds already processed. Through a statement, the Ministry of Lands clarified that documents stolen at the government printer are the papers used for printing title deeds, and the papers can only become title deeds after they have been handed over to the Ministry of Lands, filled with ownership details and sealed with the stamp and signature of the registrar after due process has been followed. The theft of the papers stolen from the government printer have raised concerns across the country regarding the potential misuse in fraudulent land transactions.
Following the theft of 367 security papers used for printing of title deeds in the country, the Ministry of Lands has assured Kenyans of the integrity of the titling process, despite the challenges experienced. In an official statement released by the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, the government has assured the public that the stolen papers cannot be considered as title deeds until they have been processed by the ministry. According to the statement, the papers only become legal title deeds once they are filled with ownership details and sealed with official stamps and signature after verification by the Registrar of Lands. The statement by the ministry further acknowledged that corruption cartels are likely behind the theft with the intent of creating fake titles. However, the ministry assured the public that anti-fraud mechanisms are in place and the anti-corruption efforts will be intensified to prevent any fraudulent land transfers. Already, one officer from the government printer has been arrested in connection to the theft. The Ministry of Land has assured Kenyans that they are working closely with the security agencies to bring those responsible to justice. For Sunday Express, I'm Gladys Mongai.
And on to the diplomatic circles now, where the government of Kenya will take deliberate steps to facilitate Chinese private sector investment beyond the Belt and Road Initiative projects. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi made the announcement during celebrations marking the 75th anniversary of the People's Republic of China, underscoring the significant role the Chinese investment has played in Kenya's socio-economic development. Our reporter Pauline Nasimiu has more details.
At the Chinese Embassy in Nairobi, a vibrant celebration marked the 75th anniversary of the formation of the People's Republic of China, where dignitaries and guests were immersed in a cultural extravaganza that highlighted the deepening ties between Kenya and China. The embassy Embassy transformed into a lovely cultural haven, echoed with the sounds of traditional Chinese music and dance, creating an atmosphere of unity and festivity. As the rhythmic beats resonated through the air, it became clear that this celebration was more than just an anniversary. It was a testament to shared aspirations and mutual respect. Ambassador Zhao Pingjian, in his address, highlighted the Kenya-China profound tradition of friendship, stressing the need to be cooperative partners of mutual benefit and win-to-win results.
Following the strategic guidance of the important common understandings between President Xi and President Ruto, China is committed to working with Kenya to deepen the China-Kenya Comprehensive Strategic Cooperative Partnership by pursuing the goal of becoming 3 types of partners with Kenya Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi praised the long-standing friendship between the two nations, highlighting its impact on Kenya's development.
Other key sectors of the economy such as ICT, renewable energy, education and joint research, retail, hotel and housing have also benefited from the support of the government of China as well as the participation of the Chinese private sector. In this context, the Kenya government will take deliberate steps to facilitate Chinese private sector investment in other sectors of the economy beyond the Belt and Road Initiative projects.
Paulina Simiu for Sunday Express.
And from celebrating China, we'll be taking our first break now, and when we come back, how do you ensure that your heart is healthy? We shall be getting those details from Joseph Wakungu in a short while.
Sasa kuna njia mpya na rahisi ya kucheza Avieta. Dial *419# kwenye simu yako na ucheze wakati wowote.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back to Sunday Express. Now, severe shortage of specialists, cardiology training programs, medicine and data on cardiovascular disease are hampering the country's quest to manage the heart disease burden. Speaking during this year's World Heart Day celebrations at the University of Nairobi, Kenya Science Campus, health experts and government officials challenged Kenyans to ensure a healthy lifestyle and balanced work and play to reduce cardiovascular diseases. Joseph Wakungu has a story.
Tens of healthy health enthusiasts, both young and old, gathered for a day of fun and games at the University of Nairobi Kenya Science Campus in commemoration of this year's World Heart Day celebrations. Patients, some too young to tell their story, were also part of those who turned up to mark the annual global event under the theme, Use the Heart for Action.
When I realized that, when I was told that I'm having a heart failure, you know, it's not a news that you could take it so easily.
There are so many people out there who are misdiagnosed, but I would want to call upon people, please. It doesn't hurt to go and say, now I want my heart checked.
We call upon the government and other players to help lower the cost of treatment and management of these conditions and even the cost of drugs.
During the fete, health-related bodies including Kenya Medical Association and the Kenya Cardiac Society offered free heart screening and consultation, as well as education on healthy lifestyles.
We are calling on the government and our various representatives to ensure that the places where people can actually go and walk, the parks where people can actually go and exercise are put into place.
According to the president of the Kenya Cardiac Society, Dr. Bernard Samia, cardiovascular disease burden remains high in Kenya due to unhealthy lifestyles, poor diet, and lack of exercise.
The disease burden that we are able to document, it's much worse than what we had a few years back. And when we look at the risk factors, they remain the same. Probably the sedentary lifestyle issue is getting more worrisome.
The Ministry of Health technical lead for cardiovascular diseases, Dr. Yvette Kisaka, said the government has instructed community health promoters to prioritize early screening and treatment of more Kenyans. She also asked Kenyans to register on the Social Health Insurance Fund platform to access packages designed for chronic health conditions.
And I know Kenyans right now are panicking about SHIF and SHA. There's a lot of worry. But I think the whole essence of this is to ensure that Kenyans really don't pay out of pocket when it comes to cardiovascular condition.
For Sunday Express, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
Now on to personal grooming, where in a notable shift within the barbering industry, female barbers are making significant strides in a traditionally male-dominated field, reshaping the barbershop business in major towns and attracting a diverse clientele. The female barbers, who are emerging as a strong alternative, have not only brought in fresh perspectives and innovation, but a much-needed feminine touch to the industry. John Cairo delves into their gains and hurdles as they navigate barbering.
In the outskirts of Murang'a County in Gatanga, we meet Elizabeth Nyambura. She is among the growing number of women flourishing in the barbering industry. Nyambura has become a successful barber, blending the traditional grooming with massage services at her shop, which has garnered attention from male clients who flock to her establishment for the unique services. However, her journey has not been a walk in the park.
Watu wengi ufikiria massage ina uhusiano wa kimapenzi, ama anakuja akifikiria kwa mind yake kuna extra services. Lakini hapa tuna offer professional services. Na hiyo ndio awareness yenye tuna create. Mtu akuja afanywe massage yake, relax aende nyumbani akiwa amepona.
She remains resilient, choosing to see her business as a blessing that allows her to support her family and employ 2 other barbers.
Kazi yangu imeweza kuwalea wanangu wawili, mmoja ako college, mwingine ako high school, ndio inawalipia school fees, inawalipia nyumba na mahitaji yote. I've hired 2 professionals na pia wana feed familia zao.
Miriam Wamboi is yet another female barber who has also found success after studying beauty and cosmetology. With over 2 years of experience, she has quickly made a name for herself in the industry.
Wanaume amsubuani kuripa. After umemnyoa vizuri, umemwosha, anakuripa tu bila kusubuana. Unapata hata kuna mwenye unaweza nyoa vizuri, hata akuachie kati.
Nyambura's story is similar to that of Grace Ngaruya from Ruiru Town in Kiambu County, who acknowledges the need for discipline and strength in navigating the complexities of working with male clients.
Unapata customer amekuja na fikira ya kimapenzi, atanipata hapa ati niwe wake, lakini ukimkataa unaona hatarudi. Lakini wengine unawaeleza hapa niko kazini, sitaki hiyo mambo, na anakubali tu.
Ngaruya has developed a loyal customer base, with many male clients preferring the attention and that much needed feminine finesse that can only be offered by a woman. Despite the obvious challenges, female barbers are flourishing.
Mwanaume anakuaga very rough. So hiyo feeling ya kwamba unanyolewa na ni pesa zako pia unatumia, na pia katika mambo ya usafi ukilinganisha, sisemi ya kwamba wanaume hawakuagi wasafi, lakini mwanamke anakuaga na usafi extra.
The success has not been without criticism from their male counterparts.
Wanaume kuja kinyozini wapate kuna mwanaume na msichana, wataprefer kunyolewa na msichana because wanapenda kufanya massage na wasichana, na pia kunyolewa wanasema sisi kuwa kwamba tunatumia nguvu kiasi kichwani.
Leaders have also urged women to venture into diverse fields, including traditionally male-dominated professions, emphasizing that no job should be off-limits based on gender.
We are actually encouraging them not only to think about the white-collar job. They can actually train on jobs that require them to use their physical strength.
Wasichana walio nyumbani wanafikiria hakuna kazi. Ningewahimiza kubatia hiyo kazi ya mkono, itakulipa. Usitegemee kwenda kwa ofisi kufanya kazi.
Ningetaka kuuliza makastoma wetu wasitupotelele sana juu hadi ukipata kani mwanaume ananyoa hapo kando, please ingia hapo tukunyoe, tushikeshike hiyo kichwa yako, tukutengenezee style poa, ndio hadi kwetu kwa nyumba kunukie kitunguu.
John Kahiro, Sunday Express.
Thank you, John, for that story. I can see Gregory is really feeling the pinch that's coming with the competition. Now, moving on is that a 12-year-old boy in Kiambu is in urgent need of funds to undergo a life-saving kidney transplant after he was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure. The family of Jeremy Mbao, who has been undergoing dialysis for 4 months, say they have depleted their family resources and cannot afford to raise the 5 million shillings required for the life-saving surgery. They are now pleading with well-wishers to come to their rescue to give him a shot at life. We would like to warn our viewers that some of the pictures may be disturbing.
We catch up with the family of 12-year-old Jeremy Mbao at Wangige in Kiambu County. Jeremy, the firstborn in a family of 4, is lying on the couch. He has just returned from hospital after undergoing dialysis. The side effects of the dialysis are still visible. On this day, he's bleeding from the mouth.
Sometimes you go for dialysis and he can't stop breathing because of the heparin they use. Sometimes when there is something called urea, when they are very high, he also breathes. So he can either breathe out of urea being high, he can also breathe out after dialysis. So the challenge we have is now when the HB is low. When the HB is low, we have to go back to the hospital.
His mother, Mary Wamboi, narrates her struggle with his condition after doctors discovered he was born with 1 kidney at the age of 5. The discovery followed numerous hospital visits after his face began to swell. His only kidney has since been compromised.
But after several dialysis, they just discovered that his had completely failed, and that is now when we started dialysis. But they said that was just a temporary help. He just needed a kidney transplant.
Jeremy, who was in grade 7, was forced to drop out of school in June 2024. He's unable to eat and depends on supplements.
1 bottle costs 750, and he takes 2 daily. So that is 1,500. And then we also have these biscuits. It is also high in calories. It is also supposed to supplement to help him add weight. And we have the calcium because everything goes down after dialysis. You need calcium, so we use these ones.
Jeremy is in urgent need of 5 million shillings to undergo a kidney transplant, with his mother said to be the donor.
In 3 months, he has lost more than 12 kgs. So the doctor's advice is that the sooner the better, because the dialysis is really consuming him. So we consider here in our country, but the timing, in Kenya it takes a lot of time or a longer time for you to be able to have a transplant. Yes, so that is why we prefer abroad, because it might not take that long, because according to the doctor, we don't have all that long.
His parents are currently unemployed and unable to raise the funds.
It is not easy, but we believe that we can do it and we will do it. And Kenyans are generous. So my appeal is anyone who can offer anything, please kindly help us save Jeremy's life, because the only way to save his life is through a transplant.
To assist little Jeremy have a shot at life, you can donate funds to the family through M-Pesa paybill number 5159219, account number, enter your name. I repeat, M-Pesa paybill number 5159219, account number, your name. Nancy Okware, Sunday Express.
And every coin you can master is going to help save Jeremy's life and make sure that he gets the transplant that he needs to enjoy his youth. Now let's move on, where Kakamega County Governor Fernandez Baraza has called on the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure to promptly address the infrastructural challenges at the Kakamega airstrip. Residents of Rambula Sub-County in Game constituency, meanwhile, are up in arms against plans to evict them to pave way for a multi-billion shilling gold mining venture. These and more stories in our county news roundup.
Speaking during a church service at Lurambe PAG Church, Sichirai, Kakamega County Area Governor Fernandez Baraza urged the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure to promptly address the infrastructural challenges at Kakamega airstrip. The governor claimed Skyward Express, through a notice issued to the public, announced suspension of flights to and from Kakamega due to the deteriorating condition of the runway, which currently does not meet the airline safety standards.
So I want to call upon Kenya Airports Authority and also the CS for Transport kushughulika kwa haraka ili waweze kufanya marekebisho ya ile runway yetu.
Elsewhere, residents of Ramula sublocation in Jem constituency, Siaya County, are up in arms over alleged plans to evict them to pave way for a multi-billion shilling gold mine venture. They are now calling for public participation and dialogue to address concerns raised by residents.
These things must be done in an open and a transparent manner, so that whatever decisions are made, whether Shanta remains or does not remain, the interest of the community must be at the center of whatever decisions that are going to be made by county government of Siaya.
The issue of relocation, it has been said we don't sell our ancestral land, we are not being relocated, but we are told a survey on relocation has been done. What is the recommendation in that report?
Elsewhere, as the world prepares to celebrate International Day of Older Persons on the 1st of October, citizens have been urged to support the elderly so that they can have a dignified life. During celebrations at Sagana, Kirinyaga County, Ahadi Trust CEO Stanley Kamau said the government should review the policy around the elderly welfare to ensure those in need are identified and supported.
They are more than 70 years old. So I want the government to review the policy on how to give this cash transfer, especially to the elderly people, and see whether they can actually use the chiefs, assistant chiefs, and the administration to confirm that some of them are actually aged.
And finally, there could be reprieve for terminally ill patients in the country if the Senate compels health insurance institutions to accommodate them in their medical cover. Nominated Senator Esther Okenyuri lamented over their non-inclusion when they need the support most.
The Senate is processing a legislative proposal that is seeking to have people with terminal illnesses be covered by the insurance companies, because I know we are having a challenge there, because people with terminal illnesses go to hospital frequently and their bills might really go very high.
Well, that's our continuous wrap. Now, let's take a look at relations between Kenya and Holland, because they two countries have enjoyed bilateral relations for the last 6 decades. The trade ties have focused on agriculture, environmental conservation, water resource management, healthcare, peace and security, among others. And as the two countries commemorate 60 years of bilateral ties, we focus on some of the lessons that Kenya could learn from the Dutch in shaping the country's development and export markets, particularly in port operations and the horticulture sector. Catherine Achenga was in Holland and brings us the details.
25% of the Netherlands is below sea level. This could partly explain the unpredictable changing weather patterns. The weather remains a subject of interest for anyone living or visiting the country. Kenya and the Netherlands have been trade partners for the last 60 years. Kenya boasts of being the largest supplier of flowers, particularly roses, to the Netherlands.
You see that my colleagues on the background, they are picking up trolleys. They receive the information how to distribute them and to know what flower they have to bring to which buyer. And then once the trolley is empty, they go back again and pick up a new trolley. And that process starts at 6 o'clock in the morning.
The flowers from Naivasha, which is thousands of kilometers away, are received and distributed here at the Royal Flora Holland.
Once she is done.
It is a cooperative venture that is the world's largest international trade platform for flowers and plants.
This building is as big as Vatican City in Rome, and the whole area is as big as the Principality of Monaco in the southern parts of France.
Kenya exports flowers worth nearly 50 billion shillings annually to the Netherlands for sale in Europe. The flowers, initially transported through air freight, would later see calls for a shift to sea freight. This would activate exports from the port of Mombasa to the Rotterdam Industrial Port Complex in the Netherlands, which stretches for 35 kilometers and covers 8,000 hectares of land and is highly mechanized.
The Port of Rotterdam has a lot of experience in what type of facilities, equipment you need at those container terminals, but also the cold stores that you need in able to store the produce at certain temperatures. Also the transport modalities in order to connect to the hinterland. For Port of Rotterdam, those are the consumption regions. For Kenya, it might be the production regions. So, for example, around Naivasha, around Mount Kenya, but also cross-border countries like Uganda, Rwanda. How do you connect to them?
The shift to sea freight transport has largely been necessitated by concerns on the destruction of the planet through carbon emissions and the need to cut back on the carbon footprint. To achieve this, Kenya plans to increase sea freight uptake from the current 5% to 50% by the year 2030, with the midterm goal being to 35% by the end of next year.
At this moment we are facing some problems with sea freight due to the crisis at the Red Sea, unfortunately, because that brings some opportunities for the flower business as well. And I think the most important thing is to keep on working together and looking for a solution.
The move to sea freight transport, despite various challenges such as the Red Sea crisis, is expected to significantly reduce carbon emission by up to 90%, as well as reduce transport costs. This shift will also require better investment in digitized processes and the cold chain systems. Kenya is by far the largest producer of flowers to the Netherlands. The movement of roses is not without thorns, given that it is time for the country to shift from air to sea freight movement to ensure that issues of carbon emissions are addressed. Will the country be able to make this shift to be sustainable? That remains the question. My name is Catherine Achenga, reporting for Channel 1 News in the Netherlands.
Pata the master flare kwenye star 570 hash option ya 4 na ushindi wako tunautangaza the 6th of October. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde!
I am in love.
What?
With your suitie.
Oh. My name is Posire Marupe and I was told to come to this class.
You know, some of us pay our own school fees. We do not have the so-called daddies to pay for us.
Can you imagine me and Will Smith are literally buddies? Sorry, Jada.
How would you like if I pay your fee alias?
That is not enough even for dowry.
You concentrate. Who is paying your dowry?
Sunday Express Sport. We start in Germany, where Ethiopia's Milkesha Mengesha today won the 50th edition of the Berlin Marathon. Mengesha completed the 42-kilometer event in 2 hours, 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Kenya's Cyprian Kotut finished in second place, 2 hours, 3 minutes, 22 seconds, while Ethiopia's Aliu Haimanot finished third in 2 hours, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Stephen Kiprop was part of the leading pack at the 35-kilometer mark, but dropped behind to finish fourth. Ethiopia's Tigist Ketema won the women's title in 2 hours, 16 minutes, 42 seconds. Marathon stars, including Kenyan Eliud Kipchoge and Ethiopian world record holder Tigist Sefa, skipped the event after taking part in the Paris 2024 Olympics just over a month ago.
In the German capital. The huge crowds here as he approaches the finish line. In the footsteps of the great Haile Gebrselassie compatriot, the 50th edition of the BMW Berlin Marathon goes to Ethiopia. So Milkesha Mengesha crosses the line there unofficially in 2:03:17. Kotut second for Kenya. And Kotut celebrating, and Ayu rallies to take third place for Ethiopia. Kotut divides the two Ethiopians, and Kiprop finishing in fourth place. But again, in around 2:03:38, that for Kiprop is a personal best by well over 3 minutes.
And Kenya's men's cricket team lost by 4 wickets to Denmark during the ICC Challenge League game match played today at the Nairobi Gymkhana grounds. Kenya, who had opened their campaign with victory against Jersey, will have now to dig deep in their third fixture against Kuwait on Wednesday. Kenya will also play Qatar and Papua New Guinea in the week-long tournament that is being used as a qualifier for the 2027 Cricket World Cup, which will be hosted by South Africa, Namibia and Zimbabwe. And my worker Owen emerged the winner of the boys aged 19 and over 50-meter butterfly category during the final day of the Nairobi County Swimming Association Level 1 Championship held at the Kyoto School. Over 30 swimming clubs took part in the event.
Kenyatta University's Mayuaka Owen registered 31.87 seconds to win the 19 and over 50 meters butterfly competition ahead of Siganga Luanga and Jesse Salmon, who ended up in second and third positions respectively.
Consistent training, and I also believe that in every event there's something you take away. You can learn from everything you do. So even now, even though I'm still swimming, I analyze everything I'm doing so that I know what I can improve on.
Ariana Uma proved her mettle when she came home first in the girls aged 14 to 15, 100 meters backstroke timing 1 minute 34.79 seconds. Karimba Izuba finished second after posting 1 minute 39.01 seconds, while Amisi Ramonda was placed third in 1 minute 39.84 seconds.
I've worked hard to beat the limits that I set for myself and the goals that I set for myself, so I'm really proud of myself. And out of 10 I'd rate maybe like a 8.5 or a 9.
Hazel Muridi was unstoppable in the girls aged 12 and 13 years, 100 meters backstroke. Hazel won the competition in 1 minute 34.78 seconds, relegating Malu Zahabia and Erika Langat to second and third positions respectively.
I really wasn't expecting to perform the way I did in most of my events, especially in 100 backstroke. I'm really happy that I performed really well in 100 freestyle and in 50 fly. but also in my 50 breaststroke. I think today it's taught me that I really need to work on my 50 breaststroke a lot, because these are the types of events that I need to be able to qualify for international events.
The championship drew close to 30 clubs.
The swimmers want to do what they love best, that is swimming, training and coming to competitions. The sport is growing and doing better in terms of that. Normally in swimming we talk about times. And if you see times records being broken, that means that the swimmers are doing their best.
Brisbane topped the medal standings after collecting a total of 58 medals, 22 gold, 23 silver and 13 bronze. Strathmore and Kenyatta universities were ranked in second and third positions respectively, while Umoja Sharks was placed 11th with a total of 9 medals.
And my inspiration today, I aspire to be one of the Kenyan dance for swimming coming up, and I'm looking forward to the next championship in Mombasa and next to Zone 3 to Bujumbura.
It was good, but at least I've made a lot of progress. My mom motivated me. Like, she's always on my side and she always comes to all the competitions. There's non-competition that she's missed.
The level 2 of the championship is scheduled next weekend at Kyoto School. Bernard Okumu, Sunday Express.
The hockey team registered their third win in 4 matches after beating USIU by 2 goals during the Kenya Hockey Union Women's Premier League match played Sunday at Dashmesh Stadium, Simba Union in Nairobi.
After a goalless first half, Blazers opened the scoring when Maureen Okumu sounded the board first in the 34th minute. Maureen, who emerged as the league's top scorer last season, doubled the lead in the 42nd minute to hand her side the crucial win.
We hadn't utilized our chances, but towards the second half, we actually overcame the situation and we played really well. The team rised up to the occasion and we got the 3 points.
We were able to get this win today. We had a slow start to the season, but now we are picking up. And the girls even had a slow start to the game today. But again, because they have a good character, they want to fight, they want to win, they were able to get the win today.
USIU, who took their side in efforts to regain footing in the match, ruled the missed chances, suffering the first loss in 4 games.
I noticed my players were giving Blazers too much respect. They were opting to sit back for the first 2 quarters, or the better part of the first half. So in the second half, we opted to have 3 forwards as opposed to 2 forwards, and that's why there was more pressure up front.
We started the season very well, actually. Right now, this weekend hasn't been as good as we had hoped it would be, but we'll get back there.
Now, Kenyan players put up an impressive showing as the Professional Darts Corporation Africa World qualifiers entered the penultimate round in Nairobi. Kenya fielded a total of 100 players in the competition that drew participants from 7 other countries, and the others were Zambia, Namibia, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda and Zimbabwe.
Kenya's Jeff Mureithi upset South Africa's Devon Peterson 4-3 in the round of 64 to qualify for the round of 32. A total of 150 players are taking part in the championship, whose winner represented the continent. A total of 150 players are taking part in the championship, whose winner will represent the continent in this year's World Championship due 15th December to 3rd of January 2025 in UK.
Playing against Devon Peterson. Devon Peterson is a professional player playing in the PDC, and if you asked around, probably I didn't stand a chance. And again, I was 2-0 down. I came back. I got 1 leg. He got another, it was 3-1. But I got 3 straight legs against him, and I won 4-3. It was unbelievable even for me. Nobody had given me a chance, but I did it. And actually, I'm still ecstatic. I can't still believe that I have done it, but I did it.
Meanwhile, South Africa's Cameron Carlson won the Africa Continental Darts Tour after seeing off Kenya's Peter Ashori 8-7 in a pulsating final.
Gives me a boost in terms of the rankings. I think at this point I'm guaranteed that #1 spot on the African Continental Tours as the #1 rank. So I'm pleased to win, but although I won the tournament, I just want to give a big shout out to Peter. He's sitting out there, whatever. It's an amazing guy. It's just amazing to see what Kenya has to produce, and I am amazed by what Kenya has to offer in darts.
Now, Francis Kaheru's long goal handed KCB a 1-0 win against Ulinzi Stars during the Football Kenya Federation Premier League. That's one of the matches that was played today. Kaheru scored the goal after Ulinzi's backline failed to clear the ball from an ensuing corner. Following the win, KCB consolidated their top position on the standings with 10 points, while Ulinzi, who remain winless, lie 16th. Elsewhere, the match-beating Kakamega Homeboys against Kariobangi Sharks at Mumias Complex was suspended following a heavy downpour. In other results, AFC Leopards moved to second position after edging out Nairobi City Stars by 2-1, while Kenya Police and Tusker FC played out a 1-1 draw. And in Saudi Arabia, Egyptian side Zamalek defeated rivals Al Ahly by 4-3 in a penalty shootout to win the CAF Super Cup at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. Zamalek won a drama. And on to motorsport, where reigning world champion Kalle Rovanperä increased his lorry lead over Toyota World Rally Championship teammate Elvin Evans after emerging from the treacherous fog that severely reduced visibility. The Finnish driver extended his margin to 20.3 seconds over Evans, 2 stages of the final gravel rally of the season. Rather, 2 events of the gravel remaining. Oitanak, meanwhile, he finished 3rd overall in that event. Here is a look at that event.
Aligning his credentials. It's easy to forget that Kyrie's elusive, but he would hover with intent in 3rd. Newville's closest championship rival, Tanak, would end the day fighting steed. He rode the rapid, loose gravel tracks were well suited to the Estonian's reactive driving style. And despite Ogier's setback, this was a Latvian. Frustrated, as Lappy was saying that all day yesterday. But meanwhile, another man who is on the move, Chenny, is the man on your screen now. Look at the times here from championship leader Thierry Neuville. Now he's not first on the road, 3 seconds, up on that strong time from Formo. He's already got himself up to 5th place, and yeah, he's certainly going to be getting...
And that is Sunday Express for tonight. Thank you for being with us and to the team that put together this news bulletin. Thank you very much. And to you, our viewer, thank you very much. Our sign language interpreter has been Byron Abuli. My name is Daniel Wahome. Have a great week ahead.